Welcome back, YouTube. And this is just for demonstration purposes only. Stay with me. This is 4 quarts of engine oil in a 1 gallon container. Most oil pans are a flatter, larger area. So here's my explanation on oil consumption. You go and get your oil change. It takes 4 quarts of oil. In 1,000 miles, you burn 1 quart of oil, okay? In 2,000 miles, all right, you burn 1.5 quarts to 2 quarts of oil. So stay with me. So now 50% of your oil pan is low. This is the oil pump, and this is the oil sump in the bottom of the pan. There is distance between here, okay, and every engine's different because it can't be at the bottom, so because it wouldn't be able to suck oil up. So there's going to be a 1/2 inch, maybe an inch of area where this oil pump can't suck oil up. So now keep in mind, depending on your engine and the size, as the engine gets lower and lower and lower, this pump is pumping fluid up to the top, okay? Just like a fish tank waterfall. If there's not enough fluid down here, okay, to keep everything lubricated, and stay with me, so now you're down to 2 quarts. Say your engine takes 1 quart of oil to fill the oil sump, the oil tube, the oil pump, the oil galleys, the oil passages, the VVTs, the cam phasers, the valve covers, the cams. All right, so that's, we're gonna say it could be 1 quart, it could be 2 quarts of oil, depending on how long it stays at the top of the engine. So the engine is basically trying to run on 1 quart of oil or so. That is not good. At idle, it may survive. And this is only if your engine's burned 2 quarts of oil or more. So most people are driving their cars, which the pump is pumping faster, so that means it's moving more fluid. Depending on the design of the engine for oil returns, dictates how fast it returns back to the engine. So if you look at top fuel dragsters and race cars, they improve and modify the oil galleys. They slow them down, they speed them up, but you don't have that option in your car. So this is what goes on. So once your engine starts to starve on oil, you may not hear it because the sump is still picking up some oil. It's coming, you stop at a red light, it comes down, the engine's satisfied again, the pump, you take off, boom. So the engine starves on oil. How much is it starving on oil? I really don't know because every engine's different. But this is just to give you an indication of if your engine burns 1 quart of oil every 1,500 miles on a 5,000 mile oil change, right? How much oil you're gonna have left? 1 quart of oil every 1,500 miles on average in a 5,000 mile oil change. You're gonna burn 4 quarts of oil. So your engine can't survive on a 1/2 quart of oil because it just doesn't function, it just doesn't work. If you monitor your oil regularly, so if you drive 1,000 miles a week, you're gonna be adding 1 quart of oil every week to your car. The average person, I would say 90% of the world, 95% of the world, probably even more, never check their fucking oil. Because they think, oh, I just had an oil change. And lo and behold, their engine's burning so much oil, the cam phasers, the VVTs, and everything else aren't working perfectly because they're designed to work within the specified range, and once they get so far out of the specified range, like stretch time and change, rattling time and change, clogged VVTs, by that time, it's already too late. You've already wore out your cylinder walls, you've already scored up certain areas, you already clogged up your VVTs, so that it's a progressive damaging thing. So I was telling the guys, I said, imagine if you consumed 1/2 quart of engine oil. How would you perform? Vegetable oil or olive oil? No, your engine's not designed to do that. Even 2-strokes are not designed to consume the quantity of oil that you see right here. Right? So what is it, 40 ounces or 4 ounces to a gallon? 4 ounces on average, right?
What?
2-stroke.
Oh, yeah.
Ounces, not quarts or 1/2 quarts. So keep that in mind. 2-strokes can only run with a certain amount of oil before the piston and compressions and all that stuff can't burn it and it fouls the spark plug out. Your engine consuming 1 quart of oil every 1,500 miles is horrible.
Yeah.
And you not monitoring it weekly. So if you know you have an oil consumption problem and you drive 1,000 miles a week, keep 1 quart of oil in your car or a case of oil, because within 5,000 miles, you're not